Alright. We're online. Sorry about the delays. I was afraid my microphone was almost not working, but luckily it is still working. So I should be able to go online here in just a second. Cool. Alright, just be back in 1 second. Need some beverage before I go. Alright, ready? Oh, that is the sound of sweet, sweet, delicious drink. Okay. Cool-io. Okay. Alrighty. I think we're good to go. Let me switch over and let everybody know I'm going. It's online. Put it on my I'm just letting everybody know that we are live. Okay, cool-io. Okay. I don't know. Just one more second. Okay, and woo! Alright. Okay, I'm going to do an introduction and then we'll be good. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Saturday, April 5th, 2014. And I'm going to the International. That's right, everybody. This is Rooplee. With another episode of RoopleeTV, episode 5. And I just wanted to start off today with letting everybody know that I was able to order a ticket for the International this year, so woo, party! So I will be at the International, which means, unfortunately for you, I will not be able to cast any games on that weekend, but I'm pretty sure everybody will be occupied with, the International. So it's really exciting this year. It's in the Key Arena, so it's a lot bigger. Beverage. This will be the third International that I'm going to. I went to TI2 and TI3, and time of my life. Obviously, I'm going back again. So if any of you are going to be there, I will see you guys in Seattle. If you see me there, feel free to stop by, say hi, everything like that. I would love to talk to every one of you. And yeah, I think that's all I've got news-wise. Is International's coming up. Yes. Oh, also, yeah, check out my shirt. Bam. Bounty Hunter shirt. I do have some Dota swag, so, it goes like that. So today, I wanted to talk about a game that actually happened today. It was kind of funny. I was going to cast a different game, and then this morning, this game came up on my radar as just a really good example of what happens in pub games, but it's actually at a pro level. I don't mean this in the bad sense. I mean this in the sense of some lineups can get really weird in pub games, and this game will have a really weird lineup. Actually, yeah, I just showed you guys the entire everything of that. Oh my gosh, why did I do that? Huh, I'll have to edit that out. Anyway, hopefully you guys didn't see that. Yeah, so cool. All right, so yeah, this game has a really interesting lineup, and I will show you how the teams make it work and what you guys can do in this situation. What it boils down to is just knowing what role you are in the lineup. Just know that not everybody can carry, not everyone can support, and not everyone can do everything. So that's the basic goal. Today's game is Power Rangers versus Fnatic. Ooh, bam. Power Rangers versus Fnatic. Star Ladder Series 9 just happened today. So that's pretty much it. I was going to cast another game, but this game just looked like a way better game to cast, and you'll see why as I hop in. The pickups are very, very different. Like I said, the lineup here is pretty remarkable as far as like uniqueness in the draft. So, yeah, I just want to show you guys that you can think outside of the box with heroes and make it work fabulously well, or sometimes it doesn't work as well. But the rule of there are no rules in Dota. Let's be honest. Every rule has exceptions. Kind of like the English language. Hoo yeah! So, one thing about Dota is that heroes don't always have to do the role that they're supposed to do. I have successfully played all sorts of crazy heroes. Like, a heavy support bounty hunter, for example. I've done that before, and we won that game. Just because you have to know what you're doing in the role, and then try to adapt your hero and your items to fit that role. I've seen support faceless void. Not saying it's ever ideal. A lot of these happen in all random type of matchups, but I've seen a faceless void just get level 6, get his ultimate, eventually get like a necro book or something like that, and do really good. Anyway, let's hop into the game because the game's up. Ooh, bam. Alright, cool. So we've got Fnatic versus Power Rangers. This is Star Ladder Series 9. Just happened today. I want to talk a little about the picks. One thing about against Fnatic in general that most teams realize is that No Tail has some heroes that he's really, really good at. Really, really good at. Wisp and Naga are two that are really good at. So those first two bands are specifically No Tail bands. Like, Power Rangers wants to shut down that potential, the power that those heroes give the team. So they use those for the first two bands. Ember Spirit, Invoker, first two bands for Fnatic, completely standard. Booyah, hoo-yah, let's go. No Lycan band, but other than that, completely standard. Dazzle was the first pickup. Bat Rider and Shadow Shaman for Power Rangers, and then Mirana for Fnatic. So Dazzle has seen a lot of light recently, and I can definitely see why, because he's just very, very versatile. Like, he can basically extend any hero's life by 5 seconds, which in a team fight, 5 seconds is huge, and if they stay alive, that's just a bonus. Like, 5 seconds of invincibility, at least being unable to die, is pretty remarkable. Even at level 1 it does that. And then the other three picks are just pretty standard as far as what's going on. Bat Rider is super, super popular. Mirana, super, super popular. Shadow Shaman's a little different. He's rising in popularity. He used to be huge around TI2. Dropped off quite a bit afterwards. He is a support that, as long as he's getting levels, he is fantastic. Like, he's amazing at ganking, and once he hits 6, his wards can just push like crazy. And this draft is going really, really fast. Power Rangers' next two bands, Bane and Disruptor, are both No Tail bands. The Lycan was then banned, and Nyx Assassin as well. Makes sense. They're both also super popular and very versatile as well, as far as what role you can put them in. Ancient Apparition picked up by Power Rangers. Really good combo with Shadow Shaman. Really good early game team fight and global presence. The main reason that Ancient Apparition is good late game is because of his ultimate, and actually his Ice Vortex is really, really good. It decreases their magic resist by 30%. So it's like a free Veil of Discord. Tiny pickup, not too common. Probably, needs farm. And then Sniper and Meepo. Zeus and Pudge. Hold on. Whoa, dang. This lineup just... Whoa, it went too fast. All right, let me talk about this a little bit more. Hold on. I'll go ahead and go to it. So the last two bands here, I'm getting to it. Ready? Okay, so here we go. So the last two bands were Puck and... Okay, let's pause it. Okay, the last two bands were Puck and Wraith King. So Wraith King just is hard to stop. I mean, honestly, at the pub level, Wraith King is probably one of the most powerful because beyond mana burn, there's no real way to shut down the Wraith King. Like, I feel really weird saying that because, Skeleton King, back when he was Skeleton King, was one of the least picked heroes in all of professional Dota. Like, only picked up by Hivos to go Mana Boots Dagon build on a 5 Dagon team when Navi's just screwing around. But he's actually become a legitimate pickup. And part of that is because, a big part of that is because his ultimate slows everybody for like 75% for 5 seconds. So he comes up and he doesn't have to immediately use that stun. He can get in and just keep on going. So like his ultimate isn't wasted anymore. And then we'll go into the last two pickups, which I'm sure you guys enjoy. Zeus and Pudge. So I just want to point out the craziness of these lineups. Like, we've got, potentially 4 separate, actually 5 if you want to count Dazzle, different carries on Fnatic. Like, they could be running a team of carries plus Pudge. No problemo. Power Rangers has a more standard lineup, but I would definitely not call this standard. With the Sniper pickup, like again, like Wraith King, rising in popularity as of late. He's just, with the buffs every patch, they just get better and better and better until they get noticed by the pros, and then they're in the game. So what I really like is this last pick, Zeus, by Power Rangers. It's actually a really good targeted pick, just because of the fact that you assume Tiny's going mid at this point with Hani, and you assume that Moran is probably your carry, Dazzle's probably your support. No Tail has played a lot of Meepo support recently. He's played a few pro games of it with great success. So when they saw the Meepo, they were like, okay, Meepo's going to be No Tail support since they already have Tiny and Marana. So they pick up Zeus because Zeus can wreck certain heroes in mid. Tiny is one of them. Like, he can just shut down the Tiny and get the last hits. So they pick up Zeus, and he also couples really well with Ancient Apparition. His Ice Vortex is 30% decreased resist, so Power Rangers has a lot of burst magic damage, and they can just melt people down. The Ice Vortex also works really well with the, whatever it's called, the Chilling Touch. There we go. Chilling Touch of Ancient Apparition. I'm surprised I didn't remember that name. But Chilling Touch is magic damage. So you get 30% more magic damage from each of those right clicks, which at level 4 is like 80 damage and 6 instances of it, I think. Yep, 80 damage, 6 instances. So, yeah, it's a lot of damage. Yeah, so that's their lineup. Fnatic actually has an interesting lineup that will just cause chaos. Like, that's their entire goal. Power Rangers' goal is to basically go for the gank into tower push, into tower pressure type of situation. They've got a Bat Rider who can jump in, and Ancient Apparition who has global presence. So he's pretty much everywhere with his ultimate. So their goal is to Bat Rider, Ancient Apparition, Zeus ult, kill a hero, kill 2 heroes, force the rest back, and then take down towers. Fnatic's is from level 1, they will go and they will just cause as much chaos and disruption as physically possible to anything. So Fnatic's goal is way different than most people like to play. I mean, usually you consider the goals are you gank, you push, or you out carry your team. You out gank your team, you out push your team, you're out carrying your team. Those are the 3 different separate types to play Dota, more or less. Fnatic takes the you gank them to an extreme potential with this type of lineup. You can see they've got Mirana, Tiny, Meepo, and Pudge to just go everywhere on the map and just pick people off one at a time. Luckily, Power Rangers has some global presence, so we'll see how they're able to handle this. We can go ahead and hop into the game. Let's start it up a little bit. Okay, and alright, so we'll go ahead and hop into the game. Oh gosh, we'll not hop too far into the game. Okay, hold on one second, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just get this a little bit more set up. Okay. Alright. And boom! We are in the game again. Okay. So. Alright. So here we've got FNG playing the Shadow Shaman for Power Rangers. We've got Moon playing the Sniper. J4 playing the Ancient Apparition. We have Scandal subbing in, but probably going to officially be on the roster for Power Rangers, playing the mid Zeus. And then Cheshire Cat is getting his wards up right around here on the Batrider. Era is playing the Mirana up here. Will be with Fly. Trixie is mid as the Pudge. No Tail is an off lane solo-ish Meepo. And Hani's down here. Hani is in the middle of nowhere, literally. So his goal is he's going to hide in the woods. And he's going to wait for an opportunity. He's just looking somewhere to get this opportunity for a first blood. So he did get tossed at level 1, which means if he runs over here and the creep wave spawns about right here, he can toss up to here and get a kill. But what's probably going to happen is that he's going to go up here, since the creep wave will ideally spawn right in the middle right here, and then just toss the mid hero to the fat Pudge, who will be right here. So that's probably what's going to happen. And you can see that Magic Stick, they are expecting the Batrider or the Zeus mid. Both very good against both of them. Boots at level 1 on Hani, so he's probably going. And Fly has the haste rune. So we're going to see them go. Maybe. We'll see. So Hani's looking at it. And then we have Fly up here who's hasted. So essentially, at this point, we have FNG right here on the Shadow Shaman. Scandal right here. So we have 2 people mid for Power Rangers. Then we have Fly, who's essentially there because he has a haste rune. Trixie, who's farming. And Hani, who's waiting. Notice that Fly is not skilled anything yet. And that will come to... It will be important later, but you can skill any one of these 3 skills early on. This Shadow Wave is for straight nuke damage. It's physical damage. It does massive damage. Destruction. Shallow Grave saves lives. I mean, like I said, it's 5 seconds extra on anyone's life. And then Poison Touches for people running. Probably not going to get that at level 1, but maybe. So, Flies up here. Kind of waits for Hani to go. Hani goes, and this Shallow Grave actually saves Hani's life to the point that they get first blood still, and they're able to go 2 for 1. So Shallow Grave is that good of a skill, and he's already level 2.5 on Fly's Dazzle, so that's really, really good now. So now mid lost 2 heroes, which means that most times when you're playing in a pub and you would give up 2 kills like that early on, people would just type out GG. You know, game is over. We lost. If that doesn't happen, usually people say, okay, let's settle down. Let's get back and go to where we should be going. Like, we just need to regroup and then go. That's an okay response. The best response is to say, okay, we got a disadvantage. Let's do something proactive to turn that into an advantage for us, which is what FNG is planning on doing right now. He dies and buys a smoke. So he buys a smoke. He buys a smoke. Yeah, like my face. And he's going to go and take out the Pudge mid. So Trixie is staying here at low health in the river, which is very, very dangerous. And FNG notices that. So he's just going to take advantage of that right now. He's just going to go up here. And his positioning is such that he's going to wait right here until he walks into the river, essentially, and then just shackle him right there. I mean, that lasts 2.75 seconds, and there's a lot of burst on Scandal, so Trixie just melted there. Like, he just got obliterated for no real gain. But he will actually, he's gonna go down and rotate here. Like, awesome job by FNG to have this kind of awareness to be able to smoke, kill mid, and then come up here to harass this no-tail Meepo, who's having a lot of problems. And in general, offlane solo Meepo is not really going to work out too well. Fortunately, well, so one thing that you should try to do is always buy items before you die, so you don't lose the gold. You have reliable and unreliable gold, and if you spend all of your unreliable gold, then you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about losing gold when you die, which is a little, silver lining. A couple things I want to note right here is that we've got Trixie still farming with low health. He's, in a sense, kind of baiting and also keeping FNG here. Like, FNG has been mid most of the game, and this really is going to play into effect to just, like, keep the supports off of the other lane. So, like, No-Tail is able to get some levels here because of that. He is against an AA and a sniper, so he can't get any farm, but he can get some levels because of that. Era and Fly are up here. They're having a good old time. Like, it's no problem against this Batrider. They're able to shut him out pretty well. But Hani right here is forcing their support to stay right here, which is just keeping a lot of contention up mid and keeping the rest of the lanes safe. So Hani also bought this Mantle of Intelligence, which at level 2, Tiny needs 4 extra intelligence to cast his spells. He needs at least 4 extra intelligence at level 2 to be able to cast both of his spells. And Hani buys the Mantle of Intelligence just to be able to cast his combo at level 2. So him being up here on what I like to call the hump, because there's just nice rocks up here. It's a really good spot on Dire side to wait. Whether you're Radiant ganking mid or you're Dire just protecting against mid, it's a really good spot that you can't really be seen unless you have a ward up there. Consequently, also a very good place to put a ward. But yeah, he's just sitting up there. And like I said, it's a really, really good spot to control on either team, actually. Radiant doesn't have one that's quite as good. This one's not bad, but it's a lot more. There aren't as many outs. Like, you only have 2 ways out, and either you're running towards the rune or you're running towards mid. So yeah, that's a little bit about this dire side hump spot. You can actually see they're just waiting here the whole time. So they're getting farm up here for Fnatic. Cheshire Cat's getting some levels. No Tail is trying to farm, but he's level 3 now, so he can actually hang out with Hani. I want to talk a little bit about the combos that we have right here. So Fnatic picked a very combo-heavy lineup, which can be really fragile but really powerful. They have the Tiny, who combos really well with like everybody. Tiny can toss Pudge in, and Pudge is, if Pudge is on top of you, you're probably dead. So Tiny can toss him in. Tiny can toss Meepo in, and Meepo can poof in on top of that. And they have a lot of just like very synergistic lineups because of that. And also the Dazzle works really well with Meepo. Really well with Meepo. Dazzle's heal is per thing he heals also does damage. So if you have 3 Meepos around one hero, a level 1 Shadow Wave, instead of doing 80 damage, will do 240 damage. Physical damage. That's at level 1. So like, and Meepo gets healed, which is awesome too. And Shallow Grave. Cool. And armor. So like they have a very heavy combo oriented lineup. Like I said before, their lineup is filled with like carries, but Hani's playing a roaming support, so like a number 4 role. Fly is playing like the support. I mean, like the heavy support, the number 5 role. And then No Tail is just trying to get something in the offlane. And once he hits level 3, which he did hit level 3, he's just going to go around with Hani and then try and look for kills there while they're keeping the top safe. An interesting thing to note about this lineup is why Fnatic picked Mirana. So Fnatic has a heavy carry Mirana on the team, which under normal games would be fantastic. But this game is actually not that great. And the reason why they have it is just simply because of the draft. Their first 2 picks were Dazzle and Mirana. 2 very versatile heroes to fit into any lineup. And then Power Rangers started picking Ancient Apparition, Shadow Shaman, Sniper, and it was just like, wait a second. We want to just gank them because they're all really squishy. So they got Pudge and Tiny and Meepo to just gank like crazy. If they would have known this to begin with, I bet you anything, Mirana probably would have not been picked up. I would have liked to see a Lifestealer pickup maybe that could just hop into a Meepo clone and then just poof anywhere on the map. Or some other form of heavier carry. I mean, I guess that Fnatic already has a lot of carry, but Mirana just is so versatile that she isn't specified for, I guess, any particular lineup or this one at all. And she's not going to be bad, don't get me wrong, but not the ideal pickup in this situation. And that was just as a result of the draft. Because you want to pick conservatively at the beginning of the draft with versatile heroes that can do whatever you want. And then go from there and then be able to build your lineup from that. So we see Trixie is actually like baiting middle by being such low health. He's baiting middle and then gotta back up for just a second. So Trixie is this is the goal of both teams. Trixie is baiting middle with his half hit points, trying to pull heroes here. You actually see that FNG is able to pick up the illusion rune and then immediately go this way with J4. So they have sight of these 3 heroes. This ward saved the day for them. So they're trying to bait with Trixie and thinking it's just a Zeus there. Hani throws in No Tail to try and get all of the kills, but they end up getting caught up by Cheshire Cat as well, so they get 4 people mid to just clean up 2 of them instantly and not get Pudge, but that backfired, and only because of this ward. This ward saved everyone's life for Power Rangers. Just shows you the power and the potency of wards in and of themselves. So, yeah, that didn't turn out well for Fnatic, and that was because only because of that ward. The knowledge that Power Rangers gained from that vision let them smoke up and completely counter that gank with no losses whatsoever. Yeah, so like I said before, Era and Fly are just farming up here for the most part because so much havoc is getting caused by this Tiny and being able to just throw in Meepo or throw in Pudge to get kills that they don't need to really rotate, and them rotating won't do too much. So Era is just continuing farming, which is what he should do as a carry, but like I said, in this situation, it's so safe that something like maybe even a Spectre pickup would have been fantastic. So Pudge gets thrown in, ultimates, and then hooks. Just instant death for Shadow Shaman. I mean, granted, he only has like 500 hit points at this level, but instant death for Shadow Shaman. This lineup is just scary. Like, you don't even know where you're safe. The answer for Power Rangers is you're not safe unless you're with your team. Like, and you can see that they're already starting to pretty much just stick together. They've got 4 heroes right here. They do catch out Hani right here, and their burst damage just nukes them down to nothing instantly. So their level of just team fight explosion is just absurd, and they're able to do this. So they're trying to catch out Trixie. They know he's invis. They have wards up to try and spot him. But check out this. This is how fortunate Trixie is. So he goes in, he gets seen by the ward, he goes out of vision. FNG is right here, just waiting until Cheshire Cat gets there. And then they're going to kill Pudge. So he just waits here, gets hooked outside of vision, and then dies just before anything can happen. Trixie will not be able to get out of this. And this is one of the powers of the Power Rangers lineups, no pun intended, sorry, is that anything that Fnatic does, they pretty much get punished for. Like, this Pudge cannot really stay alive after something like that. It's, I mean, you know, just Batrider and Sniper coming in right there is painful. Ancient Apparition also, you know, could throw an ult once he gets level 6, and it'll just get even worse. So pretty much nothing goes unpunished. No Tail is able to be around the entire map at once. So let's back up. See, a little bit about this is No Tail sits right here in case they want to go on Scandal. They have 3 heroes. No Tail sits down here with Hani in case they want to go on Moon, who has just himself. So it'd be a 2v1. This way, No Tail is able to be on both sides of the map at the same time. Hani ends up throwing him down, and then he just teleports both here and then gets his 2 nets. And that's 4 seconds of disable on top of this. This is what makes the No Tail's Meepo support so ridiculously powerful, is that he's able to just be on the entire map at the same time. Granted, he's not, you know, he hasn't really bought any support items much this game. He's just been soaking up experience down the bottom. He still is playing a supporty role and not a carry type role. Like, he has 18 last hits, which, I mean, isn't terrible for like a supporty type. But he's not their heavy farmer. We have Era, who is the heavy farmer. But one advantage about the lineup that Fnatic has is that they can split the farm and kind of have, like, you know, a few core heroes. It's a multi-core lineup versus a single-core lineup. Strictly speaking, Mirana is like the 3rd highest, or the, I guess, like, as far as Fnatic's team goes, Mirana is in the middle as how well she scales with items directly. Because we have No Tail's Meepo, who scales very well with items. We have Hani's Tiny, who scales really, really well with items, but is being played completely differently this game. Tiny, awesome carry, great mid. A roaming support Tiny, you don't really see that very often, but next time you play an all-random game and you come up with a crazy, crazy lineup that you're like, how do we make this work? Just think outside of the box and say, hey, how can I make this hero a support? Hey, how can I make this hero a carry? Hey, how can I do this or that or the other? I've played Gyrocopter like heavy support. Great success, actually. Rocket Barrage at level 1 does like 400 damage, and then you just get that in Missile and your ultimate, and you know, you're fine. Like, you can do things like that and get away with it. Sven can play as support or carry. And Fnatic is just showing this game that they have a Tiny who's essentially a support. I mean, he's just roaming all game, roaming with other heroes and just throwing his ally heroes into the battle. So, next time you play an all-random, think about that when you see your lineup and you're like, oh, we have 5 carries. It's like, you only have as many carries as you play them as carries. So, Fnatic just showing what's up, saying, hey, we can do whatever we want. But this lineup is so crazy and so unconventional that it really, really puts Power Rangers out of, like, off their comfort level. Power Rangers is a remarkable team when it comes to standard play. You can just see their win record against Alliance and Na'Vi, and just it's phenomenal compared to most other teams. And that's because they know how to play against those lineups. One point where Power Rangers suffers a little is when it comes to actually playing against these unconventional lineup. So, Era does get an arrow, but can't really follow up from it. Yeah, I just wanted to point out that Power Rangers is really good against normal lineups, but a lineup like this that nobody really knows how to play against is not really easy for somebody who's so refined and so good at just the normal lineup. AA ult keeps Era back. Looks like it's close to killing him, especially with Zeus's ult, but in the end he won't die. He'll have enough, and then the 2 bottle charges while on agility treads, of course, to get his health back. Okay, so yeah, Fnatic is still able to create a crazy amount of space, but unfortunately part of their lineup doesn't really suit well with just creating space. So what they're going to have to do as part of Fnatic is they're going to have to just keep this pressure up, or even more so, just ramp this pressure even farther. So they're going to, you know, Meepo is close to his Blink Dagger. Tiny has got mana boots, so he's got something. But they're just going to have to keep this pressure up. They're going to have to start taking down towers, or else they, with the kind of fragility that they have in their lineup, you can actually have, you know, you could have massive comebacks from Power Rangers if this fails. So, one thing that you see a lot of Pudges do a lot of times, and we'll actually go back to this. Oh, it's glitching out on me. It's okay. He's not actually cold-feeted. It's just part of the replay glitches. Hooray! So, a lot of Pudges, Pudge always goes for kills. He sees a kill on J4, he gets a kill on J4. Like, generally, yeah, Pudges will do that. See, the Shallow Grave almost saves him. Kind of. Not really, but kind of. But, yeah, Pudge, especially in pubs, will just go for kills all day long like that. And sometimes even a 1-for-1 like that is good because of his Flesh Heap. Yeah, so another thing I wanted to point out here is that most of Power Rangers is up here in this sector. And Shadow Shaman's just right here. And he goes and he shackles all by himself because he wants to get a kill. But the burst damage between Hani and No Tail is just too much for them to handle. And he just overextends just a little bit and dies for it. Like, yeah, he just dies for it. Mirana's ult is able to get No Tail out, otherwise that would have been a good trade. A 2-for-1. Or 2 for, or whatever, 1-for-1 trade. Including this trade up here. The Pudge for the Ancient Apparition. But, yeah, the global presence between Mirana's ult actually saved No Tail's life heavily there. Just that is the one thing that Fnatic has going for them, is if they see that kind of pressure ahead of time, they can just use the invis from Mirana and get out of it, assuming no dust nearby. So, as you can see, it's 11 minutes in, and Era's not farming at all right now because they know they need to keep the pressure up. Hani gets hit with a couple spells and dies because Zeus and Ancient Apparition together is really, really powerful. And then another thing I want to point out is what Cheshire Cat does here. So Cheshire Cat is in a lot of trouble. He's by himself, and he finds Era right here. And instead of running like this way to get out or something along those lines, he actually double backs into this corner. And the reason why he does that is because he has allied support between the Zeus and the Ancient Apparition coming in. And this, he was trying to get out from that, was not quite able to. And he was able to convert that into a kill on Meepo, and then potentially a kill on the Mirana as well. No Tail did a really good job. He bought the Blink Dagger right before he died. If we go back and actually take a look, he's like in the middle of a team fight right here, and he buys his Blink Dagger as he's dying. He's like dying right now. He's like, buy the Blink Dagger right there, right before he dies. So that saved him a few hundred gold, like 400 or 500 gold, just by doing that, which is pretty remarkable. And yeah, it actually makes way more difference than you would think. I mean, I guess 500 gold is a lot, but being able to save it like that is just incredible. Yeah, so that's that. Cool. So we have Hani and Fly's actually down here. Their goal right now, just their immediate goal, is to see, like I said, keep the aggression going. Aggressive wards. I mean, they don't even have the tier 1 mid down, and they're putting an aggressive ward in the middle of the enemy jungle. That's how much map presence and map control they need to keep up, or else they'll lose this game. It may look like right now, because of the crazy amount of power that Fnatic has, that they're just going to sweep this game. But as you can see, the score, it's actually it's even. Power Rangers even has a lead, and if they don't keep up this aggression, they'll fall behind, and Power Rangers will just flat out win. So Fnatic has to keep up the pressure with this type of lineup in order to win. Hani does get caught off guard, but I want to point out the awesome positioning of Fly right here. Check this out. So Fly is way back so he doesn't get caught off guard. Pops a heal, which actually does, okay. And then he waits to use the Shallow Grave until he's really low on health. That way he can maximize the effectiveness. Hani is able to get a toss of J4 right into the middle of his allies, and J4 actually dies because of that. Just because of how late Fly waited for the Shallow Grave. That kind of waiting just takes a lot of patience, and he was able to do that and just get basically a free kill in Ancient Apparition. Trixie with his miracle hooks was able to pick up the Shadow Shaman as well. So No Tail goes and he poofs in to try and counter Zeus from coming in and just immediately kill him. The heal, as you can see right there, it's like 140 healing for every one of his meepos. It's just really cool. Really cool. Okay, let's speed it up a little bit. Just back to normal speed. I wanted to talk a little bit about that fight and how it was really cool. And also, I want to point out again here, if I can just back up again, is Fly's positioning through that entire thing is phenomenal. Look, like he has blinking, leaping heroes with arrows, and Fly is still able to get in there every single time. This Ancient Apparition, also very good. That was Zeus's ult right there. Just like these heroes don't stand a chance, really. But yeah, Fly's positioning through that entire thing was able to keep Trixie alive and just able to secure the kills. Fly played a huge role in that game, or in that team fight, the entire time, just keeping them alive. And whoa, did you guys see that? Did you? So there are certain skills that you can actually disjoint, certain skills that can disjoint, and certain skills that can be disjointed. In this circumstance, Sniper fired his Assassinate. So Moon fired an Assassinate right on Era. And Era had like 200 hit points, so he was going to die to it. But Leap has like 5 frames, or like a quarter of a second maybe? Something like that. Where you are invulnerable to magic damage, like to certain spells like that, while you're leaping. So Murano was able to leap right when the snipe was going to hit. So sniper bullet coming in, Murano leaps away, and then the sniper bullet just doesn't hit. That's a really advanced tactic and really good to do. You can actually do that with a whole bunch of other heroes too. So you can do that with like Slark can do that with his Pounce, I believe. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't done that. Storm can do that with his ultimate. You can use pretty much any form of mirror images. You can use Manta Style, Naga Siren, Terror Blade. They all have the few frames of invulnerability. And another one that does is Alchemist's Chemical Rage. His Chemical Rage has like the same amount of time right when you pop it to just dodge any spells, pretty much. And that stems back from a Warcraft 3 limitation, essentially, how they had to make the spells. It's not really a big issue for Dota 2, but they wanted to keep parity with Dota 1, so they just kept everything that they could, unless it was strikingly bad, and then they just removed it. So yeah, you're able to do that, and if you play heroes like that a lot, if you play illusion heroes a lot, or you play a Mirana a lot, or Alchemist or something like that, it's a useful ability to have. Lone Druid is another one that can do it. Just being able to dodge like a Vengeful Spirit's magic missile is phenomenal. You just completely negate the damage, negate everything from it, and you're just like, well, tough luck. Maybe next time. If you do play those heroes a lot, I suggest practicing that. Like, go into a practice lobby. You can create an enemy bot. Just turn on WTF mode so you don't have cooldowns or spells. Fire magic missile, try to leap out of it. Fire magic missile, try to shapeshift out of it. Just play around with it, and then see where that sweet spot is. And then when you're in game, you'll do it one time. You'll be like, I am the champion of the world. It's a great feeling. I've done it before. I don't know. Just little things like that. I actually did it once with Naga Siren's illusions against Disruptor's glimpse. So he tried to glimpse me, and right when I was going to get glimpsed, I just mirror imaged, and I was safe. It's like the greatest feeling ever. Anyway, let's go back into the game. So Arrow was able to dodge that snipe, which is just awesome. Let's go back and just take a look at how awesome that is. Bam! Again. One more time. So Moonlight Shadow, and you can actually see that Moon, as soon as he sees, just starts the snipe. And then right there, you have a little bit of time there where you can use it and just not die. So he takes advantage of it, and then goes forward. Coolio. Alright, so I think we can go ahead and speed this up just a little bit. There's not too much going on. Last time I said that, though, there was a nice big fight going on. So No-Tail teleports in mid, but is able to farm other lanes. This is one of the powers of actually having Meepo and a Pudge on the same team, is that Pudge in general... Oh, hold on. I'll tell you about it later, but Hani missed a throw and actually tried to back up, but No-Tail still went in after it, and then he died. Power Rangers just had to 5-man for a lot of this, so if you see one, you probably see all of them. Fly does get hooked to safety from Trixie, so good job, Pudge. That one, not so fortunate for Air. Does not get dodged, but good fight for Power Rangers. Anyway, what I was talking about is that one of the nice things about Meepo and having a roaming ganking mid like a Pudge is that Pudge can go and roam all he wants, and then Meepo can just soak up experience and get farm in middle during that time. I think actually, hold on, let me pause the game for a second. We are at 25:39 in the replay. I think around like the 8-minute mark in this. I want to say. Let's see. So maybe around the 8-minute mark. We'll see what happens. So here is what I was talking about. Oh, I guess he left. But anyway, he's able to get farm while the Pudge is gone. And that's just huge because then... let's skip on through this. Because you're not wasting experience or farm, and then if you're needed, you can poof in. So, like, if it's a passive game and you only need a Pudge to get a kill, then just farm in Pudge's spot. But if you need both the Meepo and the Pudge, then just go with the Pudge and then secure the kills. Here's one thing that's really scary about a Meepo who gets a decent level even as a support. Like, he has the 13-minute Blink Dagger. He's able to solo any hero on Power Rangers team. There's no hero on the side of Power Rangers that can take out Meepo just one-on-one. If No-Tail plays it correctly, he will be able to at least micro out, which is really good. So, no deed goes unpunished. This is one disadvantage to Pudge in this lineup, is that Pudge relies on having, having that space in between you and them. And against this kind of global presence, he just doesn't. And just Zeus with Ancient Apparition on top of, just on top of Power Rangers being on top of everything, is able to just keep them alive. Like, yeah. So, No-Tail is able to farm right here at the same time, while, he's got all of his Meepos here, so he's just farming right here. And this is what I was talking about, the multi-core lineup. So they have Meepo as one of the cores. He's getting a lot of farm. They actually have Hani, who is not getting a lot of farm. He has mana boots and 1,000 gold. And Trixie, has boots of travel. Typical Fnatic boots of travel. Which is actually, I want to talk a little bit about that. So a lot of people are like, wonder why Fnatic gets boots of travel so frequently, or wonders why Merlini gets boots of travel so frequently. It's because it's a kind of like getting a Hand of Midas on a hero. If you're ahead, you can get boots of travel, and then you never have to buy a TP scroll ever again. In my average game, I probably buy like 10 TP scrolls, maybe something like that. I'm just guessing. And that's 1,300 gold. You can save all of that by buying the boots of travel. So they pretty much pay for themselves, more or less, just from that fact. Is like, the longer the game goes on, the better off you are. And also you can teleport onto creeps, and your global presence is greatly increased. And like I said, it's kind of like getting a Hand of Midas for heroes you don't want to get a Hand of Midas on. You don't want to get a Hand of Midas on Pudge because he doesn't need that farm, but having the 100 move speed and the ability to teleport onto creeps, and you don't have to buy TP scrolls as the plus from it, just makes it that much scarier of a lineup, and really good for Fnatic in this particular game. So I am a huge fan of the boots of travel pickup on this Pudge. Blink Dagger wouldn't do much, just because they already have so much. Barely misses a hook there. Smoke Hook is the scariest thing alive. He'll just be able to hook you from anywhere on the map. And right now, Fnatic is trying to just pick people off. He's trying to pick people off. So Power Rangers has a 4 Protect 1. Essentially, they have Sniper right here, just trying to farm, keeping everybody else busy up here at the top. And they actually are pulling more resources in mid. But as you can see, everybody's going mid except for Ancient Apparition, who doesn't really need to be mid. He's trying to get experience levels. But as long as he fires his ultimate in, he'll be fine. And this coordination from Power Rangers is really good. They're able to have all 5 in. The arrow on FNG does cause No-Tail to jump in and trade lives. But the fact that they had... So, Power Rangers had Cheshire Cat, Scandal, and Moon here, while Ancient Apparition was up here. Actually, Ancient Apparition got picked off by Trixie and Hani afterwards. We can watch that, because who doesn't like to see a little toss action? Oh my gosh, that was a lot sloppier than I thought it would be, but you know what? It gets the job done. So they were able to go 3 for 2 because of the reactions between Scandal and Cheshire Cat. So Cheshire Cat is able to just pick off Fly, just pull him in right here. FNG was in an unfortunate spot, but just the ice the Ice Blast along with just Scandal's massive burst damage makes it to the point that, yeah, you just can't really gank if Power Rangers is paying attention. If Power Rangers is on top of it, paying attention, they're going to be able to get, like, turn things around and get the advantage. Straight up in team fights, Fnatic does not have the advantage. Shadow Shaman is really good in the team fights too, and then Trixie goes and, like, sacrifices his life for the greater good. Hani tries to save him. So, I know I'm pausing a lot today, guys, but I have important points to bring up. How many times have you been in those situations in your games, and you're like, oh my gosh, my carry anti-mage just blinked in there, I gotta go and save them. Well, if he's not going to be able to be saved, don't go in yourself. It's better to be alive than dead. And even though your anti-mage is dumb and he died, just say, hey, you're dumb, you shouldn't do that, you died. I'm sure he feels it himself, so don't say it to him, unless it's not obvious to him. I'm trying to be nice in pubs, please. And you go in, you're like, I can save him. Oh, and then you don't. And then you die, and then you feed more, and then you lose the game. Just, if something's a lost cause, just give it up. Right here you can actually see that Pudge going in like this, he goes in, he gets the hook on Sniper, which is good, and then Tiny Hani sees him just like 3v1 and just, I can save you or at least kill the Sniper. It's generally not good to sacrifice your life for somebody else's like that, because if they don't die, then you just feel like really bad. Another thing, what Moon does here is he just hops up, so he like almost dies, and then he hops until he is directly out of vision from the Dire, and then TP's right away. Right away, just TP's. So he's able to get out because of just the the side of the TP. You don't want to ever TP in the middle of just an unsafe area, and Moon does a really good job of knowing when to TP safe and when to save his own butt because of his TP. So he's able to TP out of that. Era is still farming. I don't think he's hit an arrow all game, besides that one just mid right now. Again, another reason why I said Mirana isn't the best for this kind of lineup, because just with all of the upfront melee blinking heroes that Fnatic has, just that long range arrow is not really helping out as much as it does in other lineups, especially since he's not really needed to gank that much. FNG is in a nice little pocket right here. This is a really good spot to hide, by the way. The only way that you're seen is if somebody comes up through right here, which, you know, happens a lot. But it was really good juke by FNG because Arrow thought he was going to go that way, but he ended up juking this way. The only thing that didn't save him was, you know, getting hooked. So Trixie gets another glory hook, and yeah, that's... Yeah, he gets the hook and he's good to go there. Yep, another kill. So right now, let's take a look and see what the goals of both of the teams are. So it's 20-20, even kills. We have tier 1 mid up for Power Rangers. We have 2 tier 1s up for Fnatic. Fnatic, what they want to do is they want to keep this aggression going at all costs. Like, they have to keep pressuring. I can't really stress that enough. Their lineup screams, we have to keep an advantage the entire game. Pudge is not a good hero when you're already behind, because on the aggressive, Pudge can get kills and Pudge can pick off one person at a time. But if the enemy team is knocking on your door, 5-manning you, the only thing you can do is pull one of them close to you. Ideally not an Earth Shaker, like I've seen in some pubs. But Pudge is not nearly as effective when you know where he's at. So when you're on the defensive, you can't really keep up with... I mean, like, you can keep up with Pudge, so he doesn't do anything. Similar thing with Meepo. And in this game, Tiny as well, because Tiny is not being played as a carry, so you don't know where he's coming from. He basically gives a... He was basically picked up to be a Blink Dagger for whatever other hero needs it. So, like, Tiny doesn't come back from this. Like, if they get behind, Tiny does not come back from this. Pudge does not come back from this. Meepo does not come back from this. Mirana can keep up, but doesn't come back if she gets behind. Like, her as a carry, Mirana's advantage is being able to farm safely for items and, you know, split push with her leap to get out of the way, and Starstorm to flash farm creep waves. So she gets the advantage by the gold advantage. And then Dazzle is Dazzle. He's their support, so like that doesn't really matter as much because his skills scale really well, so it doesn't matter if they're really behind or ahead. Dazzle, that's why he's such a good pickup, is because he works in pretty much every situation. So Fnatic has to win. Like, they just have to crush the enemy team, or else they force the risk of... If Power Rangers picks up steam and gets the advantage, they probably won't lose the advantage. They have Ancient Apparition, they have Sniper, they have Zeus, they have Batrider, and then Shadow Shaman. Shadow Shaman is the only one of those who doesn't have like 10,000 range, because we all know Sniper can almost shoot you from the fountain now. Thanks, Ice Frog. No, so Sniper's range is his real advantage, and he doesn't have to jump into a team fight. Batrider can jump in and pull somebody out, and then they can die. Ancient Apparition can be anywhere on the map. Zeus can be anywhere on the map. Even though Zeus is better when he's closer, he can be anywhere on the map and help get kills. So once Power Rangers gets an advantage, they keep the advantage. They can continue to pick people off and just continue to just drill into Fnatic's face. So Fnatic just has to keep on top of this, keep this pressure going. They have the map control right now. They have the vision. We can actually go back into the game. You can see that Fnatic is all the way down here. Like, they're at the tier 2 of the enemy. They have, you know, this is actually a Power Ranger ward, but they have wards up. They have creep waves pushed all the way down. Like, there's really not much that Power Rangers can do except for hide in their little crevice right here. So they've got, like, they're way back here. You know, Shadow Shaman's dead, and they've got just 4 heroes hanging back. Like, they cannot do much. So Power Rangers just has to stay alive, try to slow down the snowball from Fnatic, and then they can start focusing on winning. In the meantime, Moon should get more farm so that he can get more kills. He needs more damage. He doesn't have much damage. He has a lot of stats to avoid getting picked off and a lot of move speed to avoid getting picked off. But unfortunately, that's hard with all the tossing, blinking, daggering that's going on by Fnatic. I would have liked to see something like a Blink Dagger, maybe, from in this game, even though that gives him 0 damage, because he doesn't really have that much farm. He just needs some way to not die in these games. He's 0-3 with 7 assists. Poor Era cannot get a break on those arrows, and Cheshire Cat cannot get a lasso on that either. So yeah, that's the goal, is that Power Rangers is going to 5-man or 4 protect 1 to get wherever Sniper is. Sniper to get Sniper some farm, and then just kind of like they have to play this out and go for later and hope that Fnatic overextends, because if Fnatic starts overextending, then Power Rangers will win. So Fnatic is in a decent spot right now. As long as they keep the aggression going. They could lose if they don't. So just a little like thought as far as like what goes into a game and how you can how you get those games where you feel like you win and then you all of a sudden lose. It's just that that's what happens, is that the enemy team ends up securing farm, and I'm just talking away and not even paying attention. So No Tail is trying to get more farm, but he actually gets picked out by Power Rangers. So they're able to get a kill. They use FNG's ult and dot. Like, seriously, there's some Matrix action going on here. You see the hook. So Trixie threw a hook, anticipating that he would take one more step forward. He did not take that step forward and just TP'd right here. And then Era tried to hit an arrow. Nothing. Yeah, they're like, bam, they even know it. So Zeus ults just to... So sometimes if this situation is right, Zeus can just ult to secure, like, you know, killing towers or something like that. That time he tried to kill Era, or not Era, Hani on the Tiny, but Tiny still had too many hit points for him. So Trixie is going to go after F and G. Just minimal vision. He actually didn't get the ult off, and as you can see, the global presence of Power Rangers and the reactions. Just look at this. They had 3 heroes coming in and Ancient Apparition's ult immediately. So they had everybody react to that. And that's just phenomenal. Like, that kind of map awareness, TPing, and being able to turn things around like that just makes it really hard for Trixie this game. So this gank right here, J4 actually gets knocked down. This is what Fnatic needs to keep doing to pretty much stay in their current spot. Moon being cheeky, his TP is on cooldown, so there's not really much else he can do, except for, you know, maybe fire some long range. You see a lasso going. And what's interesting there is that Moon had enough mana for either the snipe or the shrapnel, and he just used the shrapnel there. It's a little too shrapnel. Scandal's Yules actually just buys him time, but doesn't really save him at all because it just lines up Era's arrow. And Arrow is able to get 800 gold from his unstoppable streak. Trixie is able to get this. We'll be able to get this kill without dying, probably. Yeah, without dying, because they already knew that Zeus was dead and they were on the back foot. Like, Moon with his awesome TPs, like, I cannot stress this enough. He goes, he's fighting, he sees his ally hooked. There's nothing I can do. I'm getting out of here. Like, immediately gets out of here. Like, arrows flying, nets going. Nope, already gone. So I just want to say good job, Moon, because you're on top of those TP scrolls, staying alive as best you can, even though you died a few times, but what can you do? What can you do? So, since Power Rangers have lost a couple heroes, and Fnatic can actually safely, you know, fight the rest of their team, then they can take this Roche, and this Roche is actually going to be a huge help, because that'll let No Tail will be able to get the Aegis, and then he'll just be able to go crazy with it, since he has, you know, 4 heroes with 1200 hit points each. He can jump in and just, even if he dies, it's still fine for him. He actually has Era's bottle too, so he has the double damage rune bottle. Oh, I did not notice this. So one thing about Meepo is that runes are really weird with him. I play Meepo a little bit. He might be my most played hero, so I know a little bit about him, but pretty much the only runes that are good for Meepo are double damage and invisibility. I mean, haste is actually good too, but like illusion you can poof to. Never mind. They're all really good. Regen is just weird on Meepo because it only heals 1 up. So Meepo can poof to illusions, which makes Manta Style a good item on him, actually. Meepo can't pick up runes unless it's the main Meepo. So this is a really obscure thing, but kind of interesting. Is that Meepo cannot pick up runes unless it's the main Meepo. But in the case of double damage, there's a 500 radius from when the double damage rune is activated that any Meepo clones in that area also get double damage. So Era actually gives his bottle to Meepo, knowing this ahead of time, and then they're able to just activate 5 times double damage during this team fight, which is just ridiculous. Like, see, he pops the double damage, and he's just crushing, like 140 damage a hit. You can just watch him hit. Just bam! Like, kills him. This is what I was talking about also earlier about the Dazzle combo. Dazzle was able to shallow grave the one Meepo that was getting focus fired, because that's the way to kill Meepo, is to kill one of his clones. It doesn't matter if you kill all 4, just kill one. And then No Tail is able to teleport back with 1 and just poof back into the battle with full health Meepos, just from the fountain regen. Yeah, so that makes Dazzle really, really a good fit for Meepo. And then No Tail's able to just come back in the fight, you know, farm down here with his main Meepo. Still has Aegis, still has Blink and Scepter on his roaming, supporting-ish Meepo. That ended up just getting space for farm, so he could be the second core next to Era. Hani, interestingly enough, picked up a Hand of Midas. I do want to talk a little bit about that, is that he's trying to do it just to catch up in levels, more so than anything else. I mean, the gold is nice, and that's good, but he really needs to catch up in levels to stay relevant. So he gets the Hand of Midas and is going to just Midas whatever big creep he can find. So he's going to Midas, yeah, like I said, the biggest creep he can find to try and get his levels. You always want to keep your Midas on cooldown, so even if you don't find a big one, just, you know, that 90, 100 seconds just makes it crazy good. And then, right down here, this, just more of the same in their lineup, like ganking and just picking off the Sniper. So Sniper doesn't really stand a chance if he gets hit. Like, he doesn't have an escape. And Fnatic is doing a really good job of taking advantage of that and just crushing them whenever they have the chance. No Tail with his Aegis is just going to be able to push, like I said, without a problem. He can keep all of his Meepos up here, or 4 of his Meepos, while he's got 1 just roaming around looking for kills. He even gets hit by Ancient Apparitions, doesn't care. Keeps going. So they're able to just get towers, get farm. Yeah. Let's go ahead and just speed it up just a little bit. So, one thing about this game is, as you can notice, it's starting to go in Fnatic's favor even more. Like, they're able to keep up the pressure and keep the towers falling down. And more importantly, poor Moon is not able to get, like, very much done at all. I mean, he has 100 last hits, but he just wasn't able to get any farm because of the immensely ganky-oriented lineup. Just wasn't able to be safe anywhere. Yeah, so Cheshire Cat actually gets picked off when he has a Gem of True Sight too. So Hani was able to pick up a Blink Dagger just from the gold from the Midas. As you can see, the Zeus does a lot of damage. One thing I want to point out here is that boom, you miss 100% of the hooks that you don't take, and I'll show you why. Okay, back into the game. So this is Dire's vision right now. They have no clue that Ancient Apparition is here. They know right here. No, they don't know anything. So they just have them sitting right here. Ancient Apparition just goes up here. There's no way that Fnatic knows that Ancient Apparition is just sitting right up here on this tower spot right here. So, but what's going to happen is, generally speaking, when players play and when they're defending, they're standing in this area. Like in this area right here. So if you shoot a hook, you know, right here, or if you shoot a hook right here, you're probably going to get somebody. Right now they're looking for Moon because they just saw the shrapnel go off, and that was a big clue to them that, you know, there's somebody up here, and if not, there's probably somebody up here. Just like no vision, yoink, dead. Like, oh my gosh, holy cow! Like, that is so cool. That, yeah, you miss 100% of the hooks you don't throw, and just throwing a random hook or putting a random arrow like that will sometimes just net you kills. Like, if there's no reason for you to conserve the mana, really, and you I mean, and you could get a kill, go for it. If you need the, if you'll need the hook within the next 12 seconds, then don't, think about it. But going for those type of kills just makes sense. Like, you just go fishing. I mean, that's what I call it, go fishing. You just fish for hooks, try to get them. If you have an educated guess on where they might be, just throw a hook, especially if they're running away or on the defensive, and you can just get free kills. Yeah, so good job by Trixie. Just having that kind of game sense to know where they're going to be, and then trying to throw the hook to get the kill. Veil of Discord plus Zeus means that Pudge takes half of his hit points and damage. No Tail still has the Aegis, and this kind of aggression is just bonkers. Like, completely bonkers. They can just jump like that with all of their team. Like I said, again, awesome positioning by Fly. He doesn't have any form of, movement, and he was the only, the only real support on the team, unless you count Hani with his Midas Blink Dagger. But he was able to get the mechanism and mana boots on the support Dazzle, and that's just because of the sheer number of hero kills and his, 2 deaths. He only died 2 times. I think that's the least of anybody. Yeah. Oh no, Era only died once. So like between the 2 of them, they were able to just stay safe and then get the mechanism. Meepo does what Meepo does best: blink poof into success. So like he just controls his main Meepo, poofs in. And then, yeah, pretty much if they catch anybody, it's just like they're all dead. Oh, cool, they fixed a couple of the Meepo bugs, but yeah, that's a game over. So there used to be a bug with the Aegis where it would count as a death for Meepo and a kill for the other team, but it looks like they fixed that, which is cool. Yeah, that's actually the full game. So, cool. Cool-EO. Alrighty. If you have any questions, let me know. Check to see if anyone's in chat. Nope, just me. Okay, that's cool though. If you have any questions, feel free to send them to RoopleeTV at gmail.com. This will be up on my YouTube channel later today. I mean, later on the April 5th. So it will be up on my YouTube channel, and yeah, you can watch it from there. Feel free to comment on that, send me messages, whatever. I'm trying to get this out to more people. I think I'm going to post on Reddit and Team Liquid soon. So if you have suggestions for me, let me know now. I want to post on there just to get people to know about it and to get more people engaged in it and help people out. So, yeah, this game in general, I guess I kind of, beat it to a pulp, but Fnatic's crazy lineup was able to net them a win just from the fact that they played their roles so well. Like, Fly was a monster that game, and you probably didn't notice too much, and you wouldn't have noticed if I didn't point it out, but Fly's ability to be like the glue for the entire ridiculous craziness that was going on that team, in like every team fight everywhere, and just let them net extra kill after extra kill after extra kill. He was able to save Hani's life so that Hani could throw the Ancient Apparition towards his allies and crush them. No Tail was able to make space by always being with a Pudge or a Tiny for pretty much the entire game, because either one of those heroes, it's just like, well, if Pudge is there and Meepo's there, it's probably dead. If Tiny's there early and a Meepo clone is there, then death again. So that was Fnatic's advantage. Power Rangers, they had the advantage of, if that didn't work, then Power Rangers would have just steamrolled over Fnatic. Like, if Power Rangers would have gotten a good start, they would have just crushed Fnatic as far as heroes go. I mean, just straight up heroes. I can't talk about the situations or anything like that, but as far as the heroes go, if Fnatic would have been on the back foot, which they were kind of a little bit early on, but they weren't able to. Power Rangers was not able to keep them on the back foot. If they would have done that, then Power Rangers would have been just fine. But it just goes to show that, like, versatility in lineups and having certain heroes that always have to be banned against your lineup, open up the window for what you can do. Fnatic, because they have to ban, like, most teams feel like they have to ban Wisp against Fnatic just because No Tail plays the most monstrous Wisp I've ever seen in all of Dota. Like, bar none, just like, he plays a monster Wisp, and he still has to get banned to this day just because of how good his Wisp is. Yeah, so that's the game. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I am Rooplee once again. I will be on tomorrow taking suggestions if you have any last minute suggestions, but I might end up focusing, I don't know yet, just like I didn't last week, what I'm going to do. I really want to run more of like a, help you win better in pubs type of thing. The show is only 2 days a week, so like I generally focus one day teams, one day hero, or awesome player, or cool hero. So like I'll just continue this fashion, and if somebody has any other suggestions, let me know. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bam. All right. Cool. Well, peace out, home slices. I am going to lunch.